chapter 39, as we wrap this up. Late Wednesday afternoon, continuous outbursts of laughter and chatter filled our home. 10-year-old Sissy taunted our 12-year-old grandsons, Bubba and Teddy. The 4-year-olds, Buzz and Conrad, occupied themselves in front of the Christmas tree. They created a little town of their own using the miniature ceramic house and tree and caroler figures they gave us last Christmas. Their dads and moms refereed when needed, while Liddy and I shared our tempered version of recent events. The temperature dropped as a cloud-free moonlit night fell upon Shiloh. We corralled the kids after dinner, and with my sons and I toting folding chairs and blankets, we headed to Main Street. This year's Christmas in Shiloh kickoff offered no dedication ceremonies like last year, but promised more entertainment before the lighting of the city's tree in the annual parade. Bernie and Silas greeted us and then helped us remove the tables they used to reserve enough room for our family in front of their restaurant. The bundled kids sat perched on the curb in front of us with their parents. Holiday music played as carolers wearing turn-of-the-century costumes broke into smaller groups and encouraged the growing crowd lining Main Street to sing along to the Christmas music. Liddy and I laughed as we pointed to Marie, Missy, Joe, and Nick, with Lucy and Lizzie tagging along, all of them dressed in Victorian attire, complete with top hats and colorful bonnets. A few minutes later, Hal stepped into the center of Main Street and welcomed the swelling crowd. He introduced Arnie as the narrator of the Nativity reenactment on Town Square, which included Judy dressed as the heavenly angel. During the closing scene, the carolers led the crowd in singing O Little Town of Bethlehem. Hal stood with Hillary beside Jesse's statue until the music stopped. He stepped once again onto the center of Main Street and yelled, "Are y'all ready to light your tree?" The crowd hollered a resounding yes. Hal raised his hand high above his head, fingers spread. "Well then, help me with the countdown." Our grandkids stood with their hands cupped over their mouths. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The lowest strands of lights illuminated the base first. Then the strands above followed in succession until the entire tree lit up moments before the white star atop the tree shimmered. "Oh, Christmas Tree" played over the speakers, and the crowd joined in with the carolers again. When the singing stopped, a brand new black and white police truck flashed its lights and sounded its siren, drawing all heads to the look toward Bubba's at the end of Main Street. Mitch Johnson, wearing a navy blue ball cap with SPD stitched across the top, marshaled the cavalcade of floats and bands as the parade proceeded toward Town Square. Behind Mitch, in his police truck, 2 bright red trucks from the Shiloh Fire Department and an Adams County EMS vehicle blared their horns as they crept forward. SHS cheerleaders came next and marched ahead of the Shiloh Booster Club float, towed behind Sam's silver truck with Susanna riding beside him in the cab. John crouched with his arm on Timmy's shoulder, and the football team surrounded them. Woogie, Quentin, Hunter, Bobo, and Zach jumped off the float and pulled candy from their pockets of their new green and gold leather jackets and handed it to the younger kids. Bob and Barb pulled the St. James AME church-sponsored trailer. Cora, Cecil, Maddie, Hub, and Marcellus were among their robed choir singing, clapping and swaying to "Joy to the World." Not far behind, Phoebe Thatcher led Shiloh High School's band out of the parking lot onto Main Street. They played "Here Comes Santa Claus" as Ray and Kay Abernathy trailed behind, riding in a golf cart. Zeb drove a red tractor that pulled Santa's sleigh atop one of his trailers. Jay, Jim, Jeannie, Philip, and Alex walked alongside and tossed candy to the kids, while jolly old St. Nick, with his curly red beard hidden beneath his white beard, bellowed, "Merry Christmas." Mrs. Claus joined Santa as an unannounced addition this year. The float stopped when it reached Town Square. Bubba and Teddy grabbed Buzz's and Conrad's hands and, along with Sissy, joined the stream of kids pouring out from the crowd and surrounding Santa's float. Santa stood, his hands outstretched. How many of you were good this year? Hands waved high as all the children screamed. Santa puffed his chest out, gripped his shiny black belt. In that case, in just 7 more nights, I'll be visiting each of your homes. And to make sure I don't fly past your town, your mayor has promised to keep that great big star atop your tree lit until I come back Christmas Eve. The kids looked up to the shining star and cheered. All the carolers and nativity characters mustered behind Santa's float just before Zeb shifted his tractor into gear and inched his way toward the parking lot behind Shiloh Baptist Church. Woogie raced across the street ahead of Wiley, Malvinia, and his dad. Mr. Phillips, I hadn't had the chance to thank you and Mrs. Phillips. Liddy hugged him as Wiley, Malvinia, and Wilson caught up. Whatever for? For giving me the best Christmas gift I have ever had. He grabbed his dad's jacket sleeve. My dad. Wilson reached his hand out with a sheepish grin. I don't know what to say. If it weren't for you and Coach Priestley, Merry Christmas. Nothing more needs to be said. I shook his hand and shared smiles with Wiley and Malvinia. Wilson clutched my hand with both of his. If you need anything at all, let me know. Also, I wanted you to know I've got me a job, thanks to Mr. Zeb. Liddy embraced Wilson. Just take care of your boy and your grandparents too. A ruckus of familiar voices approached from the church. Our sons recognized John and the other guys and greeted them while Liddy introduced Hillary and Phoebe to Carrie and Stacy. Nick stepped beside me. Hey, glad I caught you. I'm leaving first thing in the morning for St. Simon's. I would have felt awful if I didn't get the chance to wish you and Liddy a Merry Christmas before I left. I'm sure you'll be back to visit us on a regular basis, I said as I turned to greet Joe and Missy with the twins. You'll hardly know he moved away from us, Joe laughed.